don't actually have a good story for you. I just have a simple solution. I'm an attorney, and I've actually taken constitutional law, and I've been watching the entire Occupy movement. It's kind of bothering me that there are really not more Tea Partiers and constitutional conservatives out here, because their issues line up with yours. People, corporations, and really all entities operate by incentives and disincentives. Capitalism is not the enemy. That's why we're out here. We're actually able to be out here because of capitalism. The regulators of capitalism are the enemy. It is up to us, the people, to properly regulate the system. The problem is that, legally, corporations and other entities are able to donate as much as they want to political campaigns. This gives them the ability to call Senator Cornyn and have him pick up the phone. When I call him, he does not pick up the phone. This gives them the ability to draft drilling leases, regulations, and tax policy that leads to that 1%. And this is not a Republican versus a Democratic problem. It is a structural problem, and it plagues both Republicans and Democrats, including the last 8 undeclared wars during the Obama administration. I have a solution that changes the incentives and disincentives that have created this disproportionate representation. And this solution can be and should be a unified message for all occupiers around the country. It is an answer to the detractors of the Occupy movement that there is no consistent message besides the complaint that stoned Rastas are crapping on police cars. That's the wrong message. Don't let them focus on that visual. This solution is required due to a Republican-appointed U.S. Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is pro-corporate. Only through a very strained and stained reading of the Constitution would someone believe that corporations are people entitled to a free speech right in the form of unlimited campaign contributions. And if you look at this sign, it's a really simple solution. And when people say that there are no solutions being offered, just complaints, just look at this sign. We need a constitutional amendment. We cannot trust any Supreme Court justices, even appointed by Obama. It has to be a constitutional amendment, and it has to have specific words. Corporations are not people. And it's not just corporations. It's any group. It's me and one other person being able to form a super PAC. We also need to, as a part of this constitutional amendment, we need term limits, because the incentives and disincentives for all politicians are, I must get reelected from day one. That's the way it is. It's legal. That's what they have to do. That's why they go to the White House, because they're big bundlers. I want to have a $100 maximum contribution by human beings only. Human being. So we'll actually have to use that word, human beings. This will include a $100 maximum contribution to your own campaign to eliminate the Meg Whitman problem. Okay? We will create a class of citizen politicians. Now the last thing, which is kind of difficult, and I'm still trying to get my arms around it, is no revolving door for any regulator or politician. And if you look at it, when Dick Cheney knew that he came from Halliburton, and he knew he was going to go back to Halliburton, the things that he did profited Halliburton. Wink, wink, nod, nod. When you're in the EPA and Exxon comes in with a draft of a drilling lease, they look at you and they go, what are you going to do after you're done working for the EPA? Wink, wink, nod, nod. They can't have a quid pro quo. They're not allowed to say, I will give you a job if you will sign this lease. But that is what happens. Wink, wink, nod, nod. You are going to get a job at Exxon when you come out of the EPA if you give us favorable regulations. So please, remember that there are solutions, and this is one that, a constitutional amendment. Corporations are not people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. I think your ideas are right here.